Welcome to Violinist Reacts. I'm SPG. Today, we are going to be listening and reacting to the music of Omori, an indie horror RPG which you've all been suggesting for me to check out. Let's dive right into it. I like it. It's upbeat and melodic. I personally am very much an advocate for melodic composing, melodic songwriting. I've been a composer for about 30 years, and whenever I would write my own melody, I would always have the goal of making it singable and memorable as much as possible. Oh my god, the fact that it started like a very waltz, very French Mediterranean cafe style of vibe, and then going into that drum beat, oh my god, I love that. I love that. It's another case of combining one genre of music usually associated with being acoustic and then adding in electronic drums. I love this kind of music. The feeling I'm getting here is like I'm vibing or chilling in a cafe in Paris or in Italy, and then suddenly somebody drives by with their window open, playing loud drum and bass style of music, and then the musician who's playing in the cafe suddenly decides to play along to that beat, and this is like what's happening here. Wow. Wow. Unison! Wow, that is such a satisfying resolution. We have the accordion and the guitar and then the violin doing their own dissonant style of solos, and then suddenly at the end, bam, they all harmonize together, and that's always so satisfying. They create this tension with all the dissonant style melodies and solos, and then boom, harmonic chord. Very satisfying. Oh my god. This is the one that everyone's telling me to react. Oh my god, a lot of viewers like, World Ends Valentine, World Ends Valentine. Come on, SPG, World Ends Valentine. Okay, here it is. Let's go, World Ends Valentine. Oh my god, just with that beginning, harpsichord and baroque, I can already feel it's gonna be super epic. Okay, this is giving me amazing Toho project vibes, and I can't get enough of it. Oh my god. And it's back to the harpsichord as the main instrument, back to baroque, which I love. What? spare maintenance break. By the way, if you reach this part of the video and you're still watching right now, let me know in the comments. Leave an emoji or leave a nice comment about the music of Omori if you want me to make a cover of any of the pieces from Omori. This reminds me so much of the style of Vanessa Mae, one of my favorite modern classical musicians, one of my early heroes in violin. Oh my god, it's like a rave inside a church. That's it. This is the imagery I'm getting here. Beautiful piece of music. Wow. That is such a beautiful way to start the song with such a vibrant arpeggio, leaving the sustain pedal, letting the notes ring. This is giving me a ton of Joe Hisaishi Studio Ghibli vibes. And it's also giving me some vibes of the song called Married Life from the movie Up. I love those pieces. I love Joe Hisaishi's compositions. It's so elegant and very melodic and very hummable because it's got a very memorable melodic writing. And this is no different. So this style of violin and piano composition really reminds me of the style of Fritz Kreisler and his composition called Liebeslied. One of my favorite pieces, and it's actually been one of my inspirations for arranging music for violin and piano. It's because it's very simple, but it's very powerful. Very defined melody and very defined accompaniment or harmonization. This gives me a lot of that feeling. Thank you so much for watching until the very end of this video. This is my first time creating reaction content like this on my YouTube channel. So if you like what you've seen today, let me know in the comment section and please suggest more video game soundtracks or video game songs that you want me to react to. And also, if you want more of my content, click right here. Back to Violinist Reacts. I'm SPG. Here's part 2 of the Omori soundtrack. Let's continue. This is very obviously establishing the main motif. I got a feeling the music is gonna be very leitmotif based, kind of like Peter and the Wolf, where there's like a corresponding melodic signature to certain events or certain characters. And for this one, da, 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 let me get the violin. Without knowing anything about the story yet, I have not yet played the game, I can see that there's gonna be elements of emotional sentimentality, but there's also gonna be psychological horror elements fused with it. Wow, this goes hard. This is definitely battle theme energy right here. This is definitely giving me a lot of Baroque music vibes. It's giving me a lot of the energy of Bach's Toccata and Fugue, but in a very symphonic metal style of arrangement. And oh my god, this is my style. This is my kind of music. I really, really love when arrangers and composers combine classical or Baroque music elements with rock and metal sensibilities. That's my jam. That is why, you know, when I arrange my covers, it is almost always by default in a symphonic metal arrangement. Because these are my two worlds. I have a composition degree in the University of the Philippines. I was classically trained. My first piano lessons was when I was 5 years old. I absorbed all of the classical music. When I grew up in the 90s, Nirvana, the grunge era, I also absorbed and lived by the metal and the rock. And oh my god, I love these kinds of music. This is my jam. Oh wow, that is absolutely beautiful. Oh my god. First impression, it was giving me a lot of Space Junk Galaxy vibes from Super Mario Galaxy. I love these kinds of harp style or piano style arpeggios. without knowing anything about what the place is or what the use of this is in the game, I can already imagine that it's a planetarium that's full of colors, maybe like a nursery playroom with lots of planets and pictures of the solar system and all that. Very dreamy. First impressions, it sounds like one of those 90s grunge experimental rock groups like Sonic Youth, which I love, by the way. This beat, it sounds very march-like. It's like they're going and marching to a battle. By the way, for those of you who played the game, I have not yet played the game as of this time of recording, so if my guesses are kind of hitting the mark, let me know, or feel free to correct me. Wow, that chord progression is, wow, it starts very normal. It's like a different world. It's like a different dimension. I love those kinds of chord progressions. The conventional chord progression would go something like this. Or something like... Those kinds of descending chord progressions, they kind of immediately convey a sentimental mood. A very good example of very clear chord and melody. Beautiful. Whoa. That is another unusual cadence. I love that. I love when composers go rogue like this. They go against the flow of what's conventional harmony. And I love it. I feel like I'm such a rebel for going against the conventional accepted music theory. But also, don't forget that music theory is not really music law. It is just a guideline rather than the rule. Oh my god. This piece is giving me so much ahead on our way vibes from Final Fantasy VII. And oh my god, it's one of my favorite pieces, and I don't know if this piece was inspired by it, but it definitely gives me the same feels and I love it. Still watching? Leave an emoji in the comments so I'll know who you are. It'll be our little secret. Here's a track called Omori, and it's 4 minutes long. I think this is one of the longest ones. For those of you who are not familiar with composing for games, the traditional way of composing for games is writing the music that it will loop endlessly. Most of the time, composers for video games will only write about 1 minute, exactly 60 seconds worth of that music, and it will just loop and loop endlessly. So it doesn't feel like it's 1 minute of music that's written. But when a composer writes something longer, like this song, this is 4 minutes long, it usually means it has some weight in the game or in the story. It has an important significance to the hero or the theme of the game. So why is this song 4 minutes long? Let's find out. Oh my god. This chord. When you use that kind of harmony, it gives you a feeling of suspension and tension where it's not quite resolved, which give it a feeling of unease. Oh my god, this is so beautiful. So you have here a very steady bass line that's just playing long notes. The violins and the upper strings, they're like playing a chord of interweaving patterns. If I were to make a visual metaphor of how it was written, when you're sitting by a swimming pool at nighttime and there's only the nightlight pointing at the pool, and when the pool water moves about, you can sometimes see the reflection of the lights, but it's changing shape all the time. That is how this feels like, the way these harmonies are written. It's so beautiful. I can already feel the anguish and the sadness. The violins are obviously being directed to play with such emotion. Yeah, such thick vibrato. It's such an expressive way to convey emotion in violin playing. it's so heavy. And being the song title and the game's title, it's saying a lot. I would say, without even playing the game, this is like the major turning point, the plot twist, the heavy emotional finale reveal or something like that. There's so much importance to it, and no wonder it's 4 minutes long. Goosebumps, so much goosebumps. Okay, wow. This adds so much dimension to the original Omori track, which is just regular strings. I can see that this can convey some sort of glitching of memories. I can imagine this is like whatever scene or whatever feeling or whatever emotion was being conveyed by the original Omori track. This one aims to distort it, the use of very irregular drum patterns, the use of irregular drum beats with added bit crusher effect or some sort of overdrive effect on drums. It is a very visceral sound. I can still feel the heavy emotion. I can still feel the sadness and the very melancholy emotion, but in a different dimension. Wow, this is amazing. I like the usage of the percussion here. Most of the time when musicians or remixes add a drum beat or a percussion sound, the usual aim is to make it danceable or have some beat that you can bop to, like, yeah, bopping. But even here, it's used in a very irregular way that you can't really find a regular beat that you can hang on to and dance to. I think that's pretty much the aim of the music, to distort everything, to shatter the regularity of rhythm. And I believe it succeeds very well here. It's almost as if I can hear the drums talking. The way it was mixed, the way the frequencies interact with the strings and all. It sounds almost like a human voice that is speaking in gibberish, a very fast gibberish. It's amazing. There's one more song here called My Time that everyone was suggesting. So here we go.
Close your eyes, you'll be here soon. 1、2、3、4、5分時々本当に熱帯
This is such an interesting progression. The chord progression is just endlessly sequencing down. Can go endlessly down. Oh my god, this is so cool. The composer obviously used the same sequence down progression, but with a different pattern and with those cute voicing and high-pitched sounds in the background. It's amazing. It's very cool use of sequence. Wow, that build-up came from nowhere. I did not expect that. It's beautiful.
Oh Yasumi, I know that it's hard to do.
What is this? This is outrageous and amazing. Oh my god. Oh my god, so it starts from something like a French cafe style waltz and then suddenly goes like J-pop or J-rock energy. It's wow, this is unreal and also amazing. Oh my god, I think I know what this is. This is like Mary Poppins, Chim Chimney on steroids. This is brilliant. So many genres being mixed here. There's EDM, J-pop, J-rock, and then there's waltz, orchestral, classical. This song is an adventure in itself. Oh my god, it's amazing. Let's continue with more Violinist Reacts by clicking here. Let's go. You asked for it, now you're getting it. Here's part 3 of Violinist Reacts to Omori music. Let's dive right into it. This is the song called Jawbreaker, which a lot of you have asked me to listen to. Let's go. Okay, I love the very jazzy big band feel. Let's go. It's the return of the shredding accordion. Let's go. I love this. Love that jazz piano solo. Okay, this beat and this chord progression, this kind of style of music definitely gives me Toby Fox vibes with the song Dummy from Undertale or Ghost Battle, whichever version you prefer. Wow, this is so fun. This is a super fun song. I love the walking bass style. I love the solo. I think this is very much a jazz format in which they give each instrument a chance to showcase their skills, their solo, a chance to shred and show off, which is beautiful. That is Jawbreaker. That Jawbreaker definitely feels like a jazz bar, a jazz lounge music. Here's a song called Tee-Hee Time. I wonder why it's called Tee-Hee Time. Let's go. Let's have a listen. Wow, angelic choir? This is serious. Wow, this is hardcore. This goes really hard once more. I love the contrast between the choir, very serious, very mellow, very angelic, very heavenly sound, and then suddenly change to hardcore EDM, very intense, very energetic. I love it. What? Wow, this is super hardcore. Wow, okay, this is beautiful contrast choir sound, the angelic choir. They're in the background, very mellow, very subdued, and it's a very great contrast to the foreground music, which is the drums, the synth bass. Oh my god, that fuzzy synth bass, such a satisfying mix. Do you hear that? That's a very nice down arpeggio. Kind of gives me some vibes from Genova from Final Fantasy VII. I love that. Wow. Wow, that's it. Wow. It goes very modern. It goes very modern, very EDM, but it uses these classical-esque chords that still gives me a bit of that Baroque vibe. And it's so good. Whenever you go very heavy, rhythmic into a song, most of the time a composer or an arranger would use heavy rhythms to invoke fast movements or very heavy movements. It's supposed to be very rhythmic, very mathematic even. But then the harmony is where the emotions come from. So most of the time when you hear an EDM piece, it usually just goes very repetitive, the same repeating chords, the same repeating bass lines. Most of the time that works. People love it. People dance to that in the dance floor. But when composers mix a bit of a more dynamic harmony, like in this song, there are certain uses of harmonies and chord progressions that really invoke the emotional side of music. And this piece right here, it definitely mixes up the two. So what you have is something very energetic and also at the same time very emotional. And a composer has to do that on purpose with extra effort most of the time. By the way, if you made it until this part of the video, I need more suggestions of video game music for me to check out. Let me know in the comments. Alright, this is Glade from Omori. Another highly requested one. Okay, this is such a creative type of mix. You can hear the piano playing a repeating pattern, but at the same time, through a creative use of equalizer and probably creative use of sound design, that bass, that low bass sound is like pedal of the piano being stepped on. And it's like there's a mic pointing at the pedal so you can hear the booming sound, which gives it a bit of a more atmospheric sound. And I love it. But it's also giving some sort of spooky vibe. And I know that Omori is also in that horror atmospheric genre, so it definitely fits. Wow, I like that. I like the simplicity in the repetitiveness. It's more about setting the atmosphere rather than playing melodies. Okay, here's a song called Whale, Whale, Whale. Let's see what's going on in this song. Another boppin' song. I love it. I love the electronica style beat that's going on in here. Wow, that beat is kind of reminding me a little bit of Robo theme from Chrono Trigger. And I like those background sustained pads and those harmonies. Again, it's the combination of highly rhythmic but also ambient and emotional. It's so good. That very subdued synth pad right there, it sounds like this piece is like happening underwater or underground. Nice, beautiful. If you enjoyed this video, here's some more for you. Click here. It's time to face your fears. Today, I will be listening and reacting to the music of Omori Phobia Edition. You asked for this, you're getting it. Let's go. This is the track called Acrophobia. Let's go. Wow, spoopy. Okay, first impression, the bass drum or the kick drum is like a heartbeat, therefore creating some tension and a nervous feeling. And then the synth pads constantly sliding down. It makes me feel very uneasy, very creepy. Okay, I like that the bass drum is not actually just repeating and repeating. It has a musical pattern that it follows. There's a double kick and then there's a single kick. And I'm hearing a very faint arpeggio that sounds like a distorted piano or a muffled piano. And I know the piano and the violin is very significant to the lore of Omori. Wow, the music is now evolving and we're having these cracked or distorted sounds, adding some accents. Now the bass drum is getting more frequent. It's like whatever fear or intensity, it is approaching you real fast. And now there's this some sort of distorted pipe organ or sort of church organ in the background, or rock organ maybe, and it's adding even more atmospheric, creepy vibes. Wow, that last synth pad right there at the very end, it sounded like a swarm of bees is like fast approaching you. I love the entire piece. It's a play on atmospheric sound design. It is almost like a cross between sound design and music. It really blurs the line between the two. And yeah, it is it's very nice. It's very atmospheric. I love it. Since the music is gonna be a bit more atonal, non-traditional, I'm gonna approach the jam session with a bit more experimental flair. Let's see if it works. Here's the 400% version of Acrophobia. I am so curious as to how this will sound. This is very boppin'. It's got a cyberpunk feel to it. It's kind of like a cyberpunk rave. And for the next song, this is Arachnophobia, or the fear of spiders. Okay, starting off with a constant kick drum that's kind of evoking a heartbeat, with the synth pad and synth bells just constantly sliding down. It really gives a feeling of depression, a feeling of sadness, a feeling of uneasiness. Very, very interesting. You know, being called arachnophobia, I am having some images in my head, like a strange nightmare where you are a fly trapped in a spider's web. It's actually you and not a fly, and it's a giant spider's web. And there's this giant spider slowly approaching you, and this is the background music to it. There's even more some sort of synth bell sounding in the background, and it's almost like a church bell, a bell tolling. Your time is up. And now I hear some synth sound effects of like someone screaming, but it also sounds like the wind howling. They are coming. And we now have some sort of harmony. Dun, dun. It's sounding like a church organ or a pipe organ, and it just adds to the creepy church vibe going on with it. Interesting that it ends with a fade out and not an intense loudness like Acrophobia was. Is it like you were saved somehow or something? I don't know. Arachnophobia at 400% speed. I am so curious on how this will sound. Let's go. Wow, okay. Now it sounds like a more conventional EDM piece. That is amazing. That was definitely some boppin' rave music now, but wow. It's so amazing that all of that was hidden in the original soundtrack. And also, by the way, the 400% sped up versions are fan-made. By the way, I'm always on the lookout for song or soundtrack suggestions for me to check out. Post them in the comments or use the suggestion form in the description. Okay, so here is Thalassophobia. Let's listen. Okay, immediately it evokes muffled deep water sound. It's like when you somehow submerge a microphone underwater, that's the kind of sound it will capture. But don't do that. Don't submerge mics underwater. Mics are expensive. Oh my god. I just realized I'm finding this really scary and creepy because I actually have fear of deep and dark water myself. So this is really giving me a lot of scary imagery in my head. Okay, again, I'm hearing, the sort of synth bell sounds in the background. I think the composer is going for the consistency of that sound. Okay, wow. There's this sort of muffled submarine sonar sound in the background that I hear, and it's adding even more to that deep water vibe. This part right here, or maybe it's just, again, my fear of dark water giving me this very specific imagery. It's like I'm having a nightmare where I am trapped underwater and there's nothing I can do about it, but right beside me are huge giant ocean monsters just casually moving and swimming and diving beside me, and there's nothing I can do, and I'm like so terrified. This is the exact soundtrack that will be playing in that situation for me. Okay, there was that bell sound harmony that was growing a bit more intense and then suddenly stopped, like something happened. Whew, that was so intense. I think that was brilliantly well made and well mixed. For me, out of the 3 phobia compositions, this is probably my favorite. And even if I have such a fear of deep water, I think the fact that just listening to this once for the first time, it gave me all that feeling and emotion. It's done its job well. It's very effective. And this is probably my favorite of the bunch. Now it's time to listen to the 400% sped up version of Thalassophobia. Let's go. Wow, wow, wow. Who knew if you speed up the sound of bubbles, it sounds more like outer space? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Again, this sounds more futuristic, more like outer space EDM, outer space rave or something. Okay, now I truly understand why you wanted me to check out the 400% sped up versions as well, because it's totally like night and day. The original versions are definitely made to sound creepy and scary. The 400% sped up versions are like a different beast, a different creature. It's so dancey and boppy, and I love it. I love both. Thank you so much for suggesting these songs to me. And by the way, I have a bunch more reaction videos for the Omori soundtrack. You can start with this one. Click here.